So then we go to the third focus point for this year. That's impact and value creation. Bruno, may I give you the floor?
Thank you, Jan. Yeah, let's start. This topic was for the first time addressed about 1.5 years ago. The point is, everyone is convinced that we have a very strong narrative about good light and how it impacts people. That is noticed by the fact that we have a lot of people looking at our videos, animated videos. There is in the people attending or participating in the delighted talks a lot of non-professionals, and it's a story where virtually everyone can easily relate to. It has to do maybe with the fact it's back to nature, our roots, and topics like sleep, lifestyle, and health are quite trending topics when you browse the web. There is, however, a backside to the coin, and that has to do with the fact that when you start speaking with captains of industry or policymakers, they always come up with the remark, quite interesting indeed, but so what? What's in it for me? Why should we pay attention to it as, let's say, a community, not as much an individual? Based on that, we gave it an attempt, next slide please, to make first estimates of the impact. That's based on published data in the field. And all the table you see in this slide gives an estimated impact in terms of cost per person per year for different healthcare conditions. The goal was basically to see, are there topics where the impact is substantial? And as you can see, for some topics like sleep medication and antidepressant medication, the impact is virtually non-existent, so we shouldn't bother about these kinds of impacts. Which what you see is that sleep deprivation, the topic I started with, I think 1.5 years ago in a blog, is substantial. Probably some health conditions could have a higher input, other ones are a bit lower, but in general, this seems to be an area where the impact could be high. And why I use the wording could, because basically the derivation of this data is based on correlations, and when you start using correlations as such, what you can get is the highest potential impact, not more, not less. Can we go to the next slide, please? All this information was shared with you during the year, and for everyone it's a bit of a struggle. It's more a guesstimate than a real estimate, and as a consequence, yeah, it's very difficult to go to the outside world with those data. For a long time, we have sought contact with people knowledgeable in the field of healthcare economics. That was a challenge, to be honest. But recently, thanks to Virginie Gabel, we were brought in contact with a small French company called Asteres, and one of the members being Guillaume Moukala-Samé. And I had different mail exchange and video conference with him. And actually, to cut a long story short, one of the weakest points in the way we needed to approach it because all the data were missing, is that everything is based on correlations. And a correlation, of course, by definition, is not the root cause. And that makes it challenging to step in the outside world with what we have surfaced up till now. And for him, it was clear that a more accurate validation requires exact data on the impact of light. And that can be different aspects of light, intensity, duration, the timing, or the dose, or whatever, on the conditions you want to consider. Actually, when you look at the paper which was distributed, that was at that moment in time also for me a conclusion. As long as we don't have these data, it will be challenging. And I made an appeal to the scientific community to start looking in that direction. Of course, I'm not in a position of power to convince them fully to embark in large projects, but this is the challenging point. Just to pick out sleep, 10 years ago there has been a famous report on the effect of sleep deprivation on productivity by the RAND group. In that report, nowhere it's made any mention on the impact of light. And that's the challenge. We speak about the impact of light on different conditions, but there are absolutely hard data missing. So I asked Guillaume, what to do further, as this group, Asteris, is not only working on health economics. Basically, the group is set up to help scientists to surface the impact of their activities, or the outcome, the impact of the outcome of their activities in terms of economics. And I said, that's a challenge we often have. Often it are very small groups or individuals approaching us. And what Asteris normally does is try to find those data. And they make, at the moment, use of a lot of search engines based on artificial intelligence. So for him, it would be the normal way to proceed. But to be honest, I'm a bit reluctant, because the good news is that we as a Good Light group have the support of 30 or more science advisors who are absolutely knowledgeable what has been published and what has not been published in the field. So I don't expect that when we embark in a huge exercise asking different artificial intelligence engines what's available and not, that we will come up with more data. So that brings me to the question, that's the present status. And what, from your perspective, are the steps to be taken? For me, it's an open question. The discussions with Asteris have been rounded off quite recently. So I have no real suggestions at the moment, but I would appreciate to get some input from your side, how to proceed on impact and value creation.
I think, Bruno, maybe I can add, of course, we had last week, we had a webinar, the Delighted Talk webinar on light and sleep. Yep. We might contact Renske and Jeffrey again to see whether they have more recent papers, more update on recent papers on the effect, on the actual effect. I mean, they had also some new information of papers that were not published yet. At least
that's true, but actually in the panel discussion, the question was raised, what's the socioeconomic impact?
Yeah.
And the only reference they had was my poor blog from 18 months ago.
Yeah, but I think they need, yeah, we need to set up a discussion and support of what kind of data need. I mean, you need the actual effect of light on sleep.
Yeah.
That's what you say. And
For
that's
sleep or for you want to go for healthcare conditions, the effect of light on those healthcare conditions you want to consider.
Yeah. And there might be new data since you searched literature, especially Renske presented new data of a study that has not been published yet, for instance.
Yeah.
So we should ask them for that data, not for the economic numbers, but
that was one question. The other one is we looked for what we attribute, and that's rightly done, a lot of effects on the impact of light. But then you end up in a situation that light solves every problem in the world. That can't be the case. We need a more crisp and clear message. And for me, the question was, where should we focus on? Also with respect to value creation and impact. Otherwise, we go in all directions and ultimately we don't have a clear message anymore. And that's a question which is displayed at the moment, I think. Yep. Okay, I see different inputs about the methodology, but also on the topic. That's fine with me. Which at the moment at the top is learn from other validations. For me, that was the development input of Asteris, basically. A lot of material to digest. Coming days, I have a look on your input and share that with the rest of the board. And hopefully we can define a way forward based on your input.
Okay. Bruno, thanks a lot for this contribution. And if people later after the meeting get thoughts and ideas, please reach out to Bruno or to me or to somebody else in the board about this topic, because I think we are sitting on this interesting number of somewhere between 600 and 1,500 euro per person per year. And we're not publishing it, so that doesn't help neither. Huh? So we need to find a way out. Yeah. And personally, I like to focus on sleep, because sleep is a real societal problem. 40% of the people do have problems with sleep. So if light could lighten up their lives a little bit, it would be great. Yeah. Okay, Bruno, thanks a lot.